Well, it has been quite some time since our last video was posted, but we have been incredibly busy since then. So we are now into summer. I think the last video I posted, we were just into spring, so a little behind, but a lot has happened. So I wanted to just kind of update you on what's going on around here, and then we'll do more of the cut flower garden and veggies on another video. But this is just general updates on the homestead. So one thing is we had 2 vacations. One was just a camping trip. We had a weekend away for the camping trip, but of course you gotta check out the camper after it's been a whole season of not being used. And we had some dry rot in the tires, so Brad had to first order some tires and replace the tires.
I don't think do us any good.
And here we have Brad cutting a hole through the bottom of the camper leg so that it can have a camper foot. Woo! Never let it be said that this man doesn't think safety first. See those safety goggles? This is the new and improved kind that you can't even see on your own head. And then we were good after that. So camping trip was a success. The other was to the beach, and on the way home from the beach we went to Tennessee. For the beach vacation, first of all, we went with all of my sisters and their husbands and their children and my mom and dad, and it was this huge house on the beach we all stayed in, and it was so much fun. It was a whole week long, so we got an entire week of just waking up when we wanted, heading down to the beach. We didn't even do anything beyond just going down to the beach every day. It's just really nice to get away from the responsibilities of the homestead every once in a while, because they literally never stop. You're just constantly doing, and it can be hard. mentally after a while, physically after a while. So even if it's camping in your backyard, even if it's just getting away for a weekend to visit in-laws or something, sometimes you just have to get away from the busyness of your own life to come back and appreciate yours that much more. When we came back, I was so excited to see everything that had happened. For example, right before we left, our Silkie chicken went broody. And going broody just means she was sitting on her eggs and she didn't want to get up, which means she is dedicated to hatching those eggs. So she went broody. We counted 13 eggs underneath her, and she sat on those. And right before we left, the chicks hatched. So there were 11 of the 13 eggs that had hatched, which is pretty amazing. That's a really good hatch rate. And they were adorable. They were kind of in their own coop. I didn't let them out for quite some time. First of all, Silkies are already small, so their babies are tiny. And second of all, I wasn't really sure how the rooster would do with them, although it turns out he did great, and he actually was almost like a second mom, which I've never seen from a rooster, but he's been amazing. But it took us quite some time to let them out. So the whole time we were gone, they stayed in their little coop to kind of grow and just be with mom. Alright, close your door. And then as soon as we got back, we got to check out how big they'd gotten, and they're about teenagers. We call them teenagers now. They're in the kind of awkward, fluffy stage that makes them look really hysterical. Also, before we left, we found a litter of kittens. Sometime in May, beginning of May-ish, we started hearing meowing in the barn wall. And it turns out she had her litter of kittens in the barn wall. About 2 weeks later, we came into the barn that night, and there were just kittens in the barn looking all like, what's going on? So we scrambled around, picked up all the kittens, put them in the part of the barn that doesn't open to the outside. 5 kittens altogether. So 3 boys, 2 girls, and they're adorable. While we were gone, one of our ducks went broody, which was super exciting because we've been wanting more Cayuga ducks. This is a real pain to raise your own ducklings. You have to change their litter all the time. I was changing it two times a day the last time that we had ducklings. So I vowed I would not have ducklings, and in my house is where I had them. I vowed I would not do that again. So we were hoping one would go broody. Well, she did, and she had 4 eggs. It's just in the field, there's no protection there. But ducks are smart, and she had laid the nest between two logs, and it was very concealed. You cannot see the nest unless you know to be looking for it. And even when she's on the nest, she lays very flat to the ground, and you don't really see her either until she starts hissing at you. One egg. Here's a second egg. A third egg. I don't want to mess with her nest too much. So we've got 4 eggs, at least 4 eggs, and I just don't want to mess with her nest too much here, but she completely covers them up so you don't see them while she's gone. Just recently, the ducklings hatched. So there were 4 eggs, and unfortunately, only 2 hatched. One got stepped on by one of the goats, one of the eggs, when it was not fully developed. And then I don't know what happened to the 4th egg. It was just gone. So, but 2 eggs did hatch. So we now have 2 Cayuga ducklings. The baby goat, Primrose, is doing well. Here she is, having grown up a little bit since you last saw her. You'll notice she still has her horns, and that's not something we typically do with our goats. We do usually dehorn them, and so far it's been completely fine. I'll keep you posted on how that goes. Oh, and the farmer's market. We had our first farmer's market, and by now 2nd and 3rd and 4th and 5th. In this portion, you'll see me washing just a bunch of eggs. I actually don't usually have as many eggs as I have in this video because that was about 2 weeks worth of eggs, and now we sell out of eggs every single week. So we have much less than this typically, about half, I guess. And they sell out almost as soon as we open in the morning. Very apparent cracks that he needs to go to the compost pile. The first farmer's market, I was so stressed out. In fact, I was just a big grump the whole day before because I was feeling very pressured and very nervous, and it all worked out fine. It was great. The best part about it, not to be sappy, corny, whatever, but it truly was the people that came to the booth and how friendly everybody was, and even, you know, talking with the other vendors, hearing everybody's stories about what they were raising, what they were doing, what they were growing, what they were making, and just talking to all of those people in this community was a really, really neat experience. Am I making big bucks? No, but that's okay. It's our first time. It's a very small market, and we're just excited to be there and trying it out. And finally, a garden update. I'm actually going to do another video with a lot more gardening updates, and it'll go back in time from today because I've got a lot of footage. I just haven't put them together in videos. And you will see how much we've gotten done, but it is so close to being finished now, especially today. I'm just very excited that it's almost done. So that will be in another video. It has not rained here for days and days and days. In fact, this clip that I'm showing you now was the last bit of rain we had for weeks, honestly. Okay, there was a little lull in the downpour of rain. I was so sure I was going to finish this bed before it got too bad, but I was wrong. And now I'm soaked. And this isn't actually that bad. I wiped it on my shorts, so we're fine. We're fine. It's good. You can see the whole front of me is like not wet because I was hunched over the bed. Woohoo! Dedication? Crazy? I don't know. So finally today it's supposed to rain and I'm very excited. Okay, I believe that's all for now. And I just really, I hope that you enjoy these updates, and we will bring another video to you very soon with more garden updates and probably more veggie updates and all the updates. So I hope you're doing well and you have a wonderful week. Totally normal place to chill. One thing I love about goats is wherever I go, if I'm in here, they're gonna follow. Or lead. You know, when I was young, I thought it was so terrible that Bambi had to eat tree bark. And I had goats. And I realized they just like tree bark. Not that big of a deal. We have grass, we have grain, we have all the stuff a goat could want. And they still eat tree bark. The one is the male. You can see his dark green head right there. And if you know ducks, the male ducks, the drakes, actually sound like, almost like they have a little bit of a cold. They don't quack, they go quack quack. And the females quack. So that one was a female. That was quacking. And this guy right here is the male. There you go. Nice drake call for you. And here she comes.